Welcome back to the Analysis Show. Part 2, we're going to focus on Tottenham against Chelsea. Always a good game, Karen. Always one to look forward to. It's fiercely contested, eagerly awaited from both sets of fans and players. What did you make of the two lineups? What did you think? And obviously, in particular, that Tottenham shape. Yeah,
strange. In particular, Harry Kane. We see him here playing on the left of a front three. It baffled me a little bit because I know he can play in 10 positions and come into those pocket spaces, and I don't know whether they were trying to get down the side of Thiago Silva or Azpilicueta. But this is a golden boot, top goal scorer in everything, really. I don't really want him playing left.
No.
It's fine as left wing, but we know as wingers that you've got to come back and defend as well. So I don't want Harry Kane doing that. So it was very, very strange. We couldn't quite work it out. But credit to Tottenham, they did start off very, very well.
Yep.
And made it difficult for Chelsea to kind of get with grips with the game. And there was a couple of key moments where they had to do something to try and get in the game.
Let's have a look at those early stages where, as you quite rightly say, Spurs, and to their credit, started very well. They were bright, and there was a definite press on here, Karen, wasn't there, early on to kind of go after Chelsea a little bit.
Yeah, high pressing, high intensity. Look, making it difficult. And what I always say about it is, if you give a good player time, they look like world class. But you put them under pressure. No player wants to receive this pressure all the time. It's relentless, looking to force it, and they win it back. And also they win it back in higher areas. But at some point, though, you've got to turn this pressure into goals because it's unsustainable.
Yep.
But they started off really well. Look, again, pressing, blocking off passing lanes. And you want to keep Chelsea in this part of the pitch. You don't want them higher up.
No.
And you win it up there and make forced errors.
Yeah, they did it particularly well. Again, you can see Harry Kane just slightly left of Son, but forcing Azpilicueta into rushing it. And again, that's really good work, that. And they'll have spoke about this, worked about this. They'll have done a lot of work in order to get ready for this, like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like man for man, isn't it? And if you win your individual battle, like this is a good one, you win it back, it's just that final pass. And that's the difference of when you're pressing, it can be tiring. And then your end product, when you win it back, it has to be good. But they started very well. But then Chelsea made some tweaks.
Yeah, they did. And I think it was noticeable when Cesar Azpilicueta come over towards Thomas Tuchel. And clearly they were having a bit of quite a long discussion, actually.
Is that here?
Down here, look, where we don't know what's being said here, Karen, but it feels like there's a tactical tweak got to go on.
What do you think he was saying then?
I think usually with something like that, and you can see that where he's pointing, I think he's saying that we're getting outnumbered a little bit in the middle of the park, that we're not able to get out perhaps as quickly and as easily as we usually do. And that's quite a big little conflab going on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between the two of them. And so clearly there was something that was said there, and that kind of eventually led to Chelsea starting to get to grips with the game. After the game, Thomas Tuchel, the Chelsea coach, was asked about this. Here's what he said.
Yeah, it was like a hard decision for Mason, and it seemed to be a bit more defensive from Mason to N'Golo. But I wanted to give the sign from the talk. I was not happy with the energy, and I was not ready to talk about the spaces here and the spaces there and where to open the spaces. For me, it was about ball wins, second balls, about duels, and about sending signals and growing confidence, to let the confidence grow by energy and by ball wins and by more work, by higher work rate, and by closing players down and not being too reactive. So yeah, that was the signal to the talk, more or less.
I think what's so impressive, Karen, I don't know if you agree about this guy, is obviously there that we saw Azpilicueta and him having a chat, and he will have thought about it a lot. No matter who it is, if he sees something that needs fixing, rather than waiting to go one down and then, OK, now I'll do it, he wants to be proactive and he wants to get it done. So Kante, it was that replaced Mason Mount at half-time. And we kind of instantly saw the rewards from that.
Well, we saw from the pressing of Spurs the intensity, and it wasn't matched. And if you're going to try and match them, so take aside football, take aside passing in space, exactly what he says, you've got to match people in their work rate. And if you want to bring that on, you bring on this man and N'Golo Kante. Look, straight away, he's up to the ball, winning it back. So actually they've gone, right, we're going to play you at your own game, but to do that, we've got to bring Kante on.
Yeah.
And he's just, first balls, he said about first balls, second balls, there he is, his positional sense, And what it does, it just gives everyone else that confidence, because he's just there and you're thinking, I know if I had Kante behind me, I'm thinking I'm relaxed because I know he's there just to clean and mop up everything else. There he is, high, pressing and stopping it at source. Someone else can win it back. I'm relentless. I won't, and wins it back. And that's the difference from the first half to the second half.
He's like, when he does this, and it's infectious, isn't it? When you've got, and he's kind of, what he's always done so well, whether it's playing for his national team, whether it's in the blue of Chelsea, even in a Leicester shirt, he's kind of the trigger. He's like the trigger man for all of that sort of stuff that happens, Karen. So whenever he goes, it's like when he goes hunting after people, the rest of the team follow him, don't they?
It's a cue, isn't it? Like it's a cue. So maybe in other games, it's my old manager say any backwards pass, that's a cue. But for him, it's like, right, as soon as he goes, then I'm going, wow. N'Golo's going, I'm going to go. If I go, you go, Andy. And it's just like we all go, and he's that's his leadership role. He's right, well, we're going to go and win this. I'm not going to be dictated to. We're going to be aggressive. And that little tweak isn't about tactics. Well, it is. It's not about, nice passes or 1v1 situation. It's about getting up to the ball.
Yeah.
And that was what he said in his interview and what he recognised.
Yeah. They got in front, Chelsea, with a set piece. And then before the actual goal, so we'll just show another one before that, with Thiago Silva again, and Jorginho is quite prominent in this particular corner. Marcus Alonso it is who's going out to take it, and I think we'll see here Jorginho walking just into this area, into this near post area, just trying to attract. Look at Thiago Silva. It's almost like I don't want to be involved, Karen.
It's the Ronaldo disinterest.
It's like I'm looking at the floor and I'm not really gonna go for this. So there goes Jorginho, just makes a little move. Can he drag somebody out? Can he just perhaps move a couple of players, shift a few bodies? Jorginho it is who flicks that one on. Yeah. Right? I don't know whether that was intended for him or not really, or whether that one came in a little bit flat.
I don't think it was. I think if he wanted it and if someone followed him, that's when the space would open up.
But again, he's doing the same thing here, Karen.
Yep.
And this time, obviously, it's a better delivery.
Yep.
And this guy leaps really well, doesn't he, Thiago Silva? Doesn't he?
He's probably not huge in stature, but what he makes up for is you see him on the back post again, ghosting in. It's that disinterest. I'm not marked. And anyone that has a run up, and this point here is desire. It's I want this.
I want it more.
I want it more. And also he's got a yard or two on, I think it was Dele Alli, because he kind of like ghosted in, and that's what I'm saying about. Ronaldo is, 37? He's 37 tomorrow. Experienced players, they don't get marked. They wait for you to make a mistake and punish you.
Yeah, very good point, very good point. Tanguy Ndombele, look, if you're a Spurs fan, we've seen flashes from this guy. And again, we saw some stuff at the weekend, Karen, where he is really, really good to watch. He just doesn't seem, or his managers don't trust him to be able to do it for 90 minutes. But when he's in the early stages of matches, the way he shifts the ball and his body movement is brilliant.
Oh, he's a joy to watch. He gets them going, and perhaps that's why, they started to fade off Spurs when he went off as well. I know they were 1-0 down when he went off, but he's everything in there, winning it, the first balls, the second balls, and maybe that's why Chelsea had to make the changes. But he's driving, he's strong, isn't he? And
fantastic.
I think it's strange that whether he's an explosive player, that you have to protect explosive players, or whether now they've put it into his mindset, you're only a 60-minute player, which I don't think that should be the case. But I don't know whether maybe he thought the game has kind of gone when he came off after 60 minutes, and we're going, what have we got coming up? We've got Arsenal coming up. Do I want to risk him getting injured if he's that type of player? Yeah. But he's brilliant though, isn't he, when he's on
I think he's very, very talented boy. This was the second goal. This was N'Golo Kante, and people might have said, could he have done more? Should he have done more? I think he tracks the run of Kovacic.
Yep. Tracks him there.
Now he's drifting a little bit. Now he should perhaps, his team have got possession. The ball gets turned over, switch on, react. Where are you going to go? Doesn't really go anywhere. Now, is Eric Dyer there? I don't know what Eric Dyer's saying, but is he saying, get to the ball, get out there as quick as you can?
The thing is, though, do you know what I think he's thinking of? Lukaku.
Yeah.
I think he's screening Lukaku.
I think he could well be right.
Because if he goes out and he gets his angle wrong, look at Lukaku.
Straight ball and he's in.
So I actually defend Ndombele there in this situation. I agree, can he get out to the ball? But is any of his teammates saying release? Is he saying, I've got him? Is he saying, I need you to get out? Because, you know, for me, the best defenders are the ones that organise everyone in front, so you never have to defend.
I think here, Karen, I think you'll see Højbjerg on the edge of the box. So again, Tottenham have possession here, and Lo Celso gets caught in possession and they give it away. So now you've got to switch on, now you've got to react. Watch a number 5. Go,
Yeah.
get out to the ball. Do you know why he doesn't here? Because he's kind of not really, if that's Paul Pogba, if that's Ronaldo, if that's someone else, people are in his face. Because it's N'Golo Kanté and he's not known for his shooting power or goal-scoring prowess, I think it's like they want him to shoot.
Yeah.
They're almost saying to him, go on, you can have this shot, we'll let you shoot. You let people shoot and I'm afraid you get a deflection and it can end up in the back of your net.
That's a really, really good point
And
about knowing the personnel.
Yeah,
perhaps.
sometimes you don't always think, you know, I've done that on the pitch. I've been playing against people and I've actually said, go on, shoot. And they've stuck it in the top corner. You know, that's happened.
At your peril.
And yeah, it's true, it does happen that. But disappointing that from a Spurs point of view, because once that goal went in, then all of a sudden it felt like game, set and match, really, didn't it?
Yeah, but again, it's their own mistakes, really, giving it away in poor areas and then not getting that up to the ball. It's not like Chelsea have played through them and you're going, wow, goal of the season. It's just losing it in your own half, giving it away, silly turnovers, and then no organisation. Talking
about letting people shoot, I would let Antonio Rudiger shoot. If he's coming forward with the ball, I'd be thinking, you can have a shot. His movement and his finish here, Karen, is really, really good.
Yeah. No, it really is, and he could have overed it as well, I think,
here he is.
In this situation. But again, disinterested. I'm waiting. Where's the space?
It's that dart.
Boom. It's that dart. And again, it's a common theme.
Goal.
It's a brilliant goal because he's reading of the situation as to pull back. Again, wait. Both of them are waiting.
Yep.
And they see where that space is. Great run from Jorginho, who opens it up, and then he's just going to go in there.
Yeah.
And what he does, it's not even far in the corner, but it keeps it low, and there's a lot of people in his way, and it's a brilliant finish. And was it 2 centre-backs scored in that?
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some banter in the dressing room to the forwards.
Really, really good goal that from Antonio Rudiger, a player who is playing exceptionally well. What's really interesting, Karen, is the records at the top of the table. We know it's very tight, but the results so far, identical.
Yeah.
That's bizarre, that, isn't it? That is incredible between Chelsea and Liverpool. That really is quite amazing.
Who are you going for?
Do you know, I think I've said at the start of the season these, and I can't see 2 teams finishing above these. I could only possibly see one, either City or Liverpool, personally.
Yeah.
Personally, but I think we're in for a belter of a contest at the top of the table this year. Do you?
I think it's going to be the best Premier League season in quite a long time.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
just
can see it.
So competitive, and but I'm with you. I think Chelsea are the ones to beat. I think there's a mentality, there's something about them, but they're growing as they're getting fitter and fitter, the ones that have been out. But I feel like Chelsea are already structurally in there, and City have got a lot of injuries, and Man U are still. But Brighton as well, though, who knows? It
is absolutely. It's going to be a thrilling rollercoaster ride, very much, I think, at the top of the table. Look, he's been swatting up all weekend. It's that time for Leroy's lecture.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And it's interesting you're talking about Chelsea there, talking about the 2 defenders scoring with magnificent goals as well from Rudiger and Thiago Silva. But I wanted to focus on their back 3 and the way they defend. We've spoken about Lukaku, their midfield, but their back 3 is just so important to the way they play. So I wanted to compare them to another side in the Premier League, because this Chelsea side have not conceded a goal in open play this season. And there's a reason for that. And it's the way that they set up. But first, I want to have a look at a side who play a back 3 who have conceded, and that was Newcastle. And I just want you to have a look at this clip here. And just look, I'm just going to pause it there. Look, there's a back 3. There's Clark, there's Lascelles, and there's Hayden playing in the back 3. Now, that's usually the starting point. They're in possession of the ball, and it's the turnover of the possession. And now, if you play it on, would you play it on here, please? You'll just see, as they lose possession, Clark gets tight, and then the midfield player goes to get tight. But he doesn't get absolutely tight. Under Thomas Tuchel, a Chelsea player would go all the way in. Now, if you play it, he's almost disinterested. Now, just watch the midfield players. They're all just running back to their goal, totally disinterested, not even worried about the ball, and they're all running back. We've seen it before, and they're getting back into their shape, and we've heard it before. We're talking about their shape, it's a 5 and it's a 4. Because what they want the ball to be in front of them all the time, and they don't want those 3 central defensive players to be exposed in wide areas. This is Chelsea. back three, almost identical starting position. As we play it on here, I want to have a look at Rudiger, who's just to the left. He's got all this space outside him. Chelsea lose possession of the ball, Lukaku loses the ball, Spurs get into a great space. They just pause it there. There's the space. Rudiger recognises that. He can't go tight. So what you've got to do is retreat straight away. And he does that brilliantly. And he retreats. But I'm going to pause it again here, because look at his body shape. He's encouraging the ball to go wide. If that's a Newcastle player, he's running back, wanting a midfield player to come back and get into shape. But Rudiger, because he's a great athlete, he's quick, and he can handle one-on-one situations, he's happy for it to go into that space. Now, as you play it on, you'll see that as you play it on here now, he's showing it here, he's showing him wide, and he goes wide. Now, I'm just going to pause it again. Jorginho is the key, because now Jorginho has become part of the back three. He's not concerned about what happens behind him, because he knows Jorginho's got that covered. He's in the wide area, and he's so comfortable. Now, when you play three at the back, the key are those outside players. They have to be comfortable in these positions for you to go tight. Otherwise, you'll find yourself defending your box all of the time. As you play it on here, you see, this is what Rudiger absolutely loves doing. He loves getting tight. Look how low it is. And he gets tight there. Look, he's got his body, he's nice and tight. Look at the back four behind him. He's actually carried on into midfield, because now Alonso has gone into the back four, because Alonso's taken his space. So he can go tight and tight as long as he wants. Look at the shape. It's almost a perfect 4-4. And as the ball gets played forward here, you see it's Alonso who's now got back into the shape, because Rudiger's done the work and they clear it. And it's a really good way of showing how to play the three at the back. I'm just going to pause it here. They're in the five at the back in that shape. This is a difference. As the ball gets transferred to this wide area, I want you to watch Alonso. He just has a look. Are you coming with me? Other back fives, he would drop off, and the midfield player, he would not go tight, and the midfield player would drop in. But because he knows a Rudiger can cope with that, he decides, no, I'm going to go tight, because I know Rudiger's going to come wide. He's happy to come with me. And he goes tight, Rudiger goes with him, and they win possession of the ball. This is why I think Chelsea are doing so well. You know, Rudiger was a player under Frank Lampard who, you know, you didn't fancy him. But in this situation, and by the way, with Azpilicueta, with James, with Christensen on the other side, they do exactly the same thing. Because wherever they are on the pitch, they can get tight. And it means that midfield players then can get in contact. And as a midfield player, Andy, you know how important that is. And if you are back through who's prepared to go and get tight, it means that your centre forwards can play 20 yards further up the pitch. And when you do win the ball, the forwards are closer to the opposition's goal. The way Chelsea do it is magnificent, and that's why they haven't conceded a goal in open play this season, Andy.
And Leroy, that sort of work, that doesn't happen by chance. That's not just because they're good players, they're experienced players. You've got to work at that. That's ours, isn't it, on the training ground, that sort of stuff?
It is ours on the training ground, and it's recruitment as well, Andy. You know, because people go, sometimes they've got players, they've got two centre-halves, you've seen it before, and they'll say, OK, because we're playing a Man City, we'll go to five at the back. And they play three centre-backs in those three central areas. Now, Rudiger's a centre-back and Christensen's a centre-back. But you know what? If you played in a back four as well, they could play right-back or left-back quite comfortably as well. That's why Azpilicueta is such a good player, because he can play full-back and he can play centre-back. When you play three at the back, the centre guy with Thiago Silva is mightily important, but those two players outside have got to be really comfortable coming out of their slots and getting tight to people. If they're not, you find you get players just flooding back. You get loads of players behind the ball, but when you win the ball, you've got nowhere to go. But with Chelsea, with those players, they're the key to getting Jorginho, Kovacic, Lukaku into the game. And talking about, you know, Chelsea not conceded from open play, again, they didn't do it against Spurs. You thought that the most likely player to do that would be Harry Kane. I've got a question on the back of that, and it's from Voela Makuva. He says, guys, do you think Harry Kane will repeat his Golden Boot success this season? What do you think?
The way it's going, no, not at the moment. I think he's got a slight hangover from the Euros and also the potential move that fell through. And it doesn't help when he's not played in his preferred position, I think, so it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree, Leroy. In answer to the question, I think if you're going to play Harry Kane in this kind of wide left position, which we saw, not wide left, but leftish, left of centre position, then going to be very difficult for him to get amongst the goals. So yeah, Leroy, really enjoyed that. Very, very good, pal. Thank you very much. Talking about Harry Kane, focus on that, Karen, just for a moment. So if you want to get him back to his best, why did Nuno play him? Why did Nuno play him, do you think, left of where Son was? What do you think? So there's Harry Kane in. Ordinarily, we know that usually that's him, that's Son, that's Moura, that's Bergwijn, that's Lo Celso, whoever. Why? What was this? Is this because he sees him as his main man at the moment, the sharper out of the two, playing him up the middle, or was there something more tactical for Harry involved, Karen? What did you think?
I'd like to think it was more tactical because I think they can be both the main players because they want to work off each other as well. My only thought would be is that Harry Kane naturally comes more to feet now. So I wonder, would he come a bit like, not like Pogba did, but we kind of explained it where he goes into midfield a little bit more, and maybe then the spaces in behind would open up for Son to sprint in behind. That would be my only thought. But the more Harry Kane comes to feet, the further away he's from goal. And also, yes, OK, we're talking attacking sense, but if you're playing Harry Kane on this left of the front three, I used to play there, defensively it's a massive shift. Because, again, you're pressing, and OK, now Harry Kane as a centre forward, you can stay higher up, but now he's got a responsibility. Now, this is Harry Kane. This is your top goal scorer. Why do I want him being pushed all the way back here? Granted, they get out and a chance comes from it and you could say he started it, but that could be someone else. Because why? I don't want Harry Kane there when this happens. When you're penetrating the back line of Chelsea, I do not want Harry Kane there. Yeah,
that's a good point. It's a very good point. I think it's different if you're asking Harry Kane to pick the ball up here, Karen. Little pause there. You know, again, he's gone in a long way there. He's gone in a long way. And of course, there's going to be traffic in and around you. He's going to find blue shirts. They are going to come and hit him. And is that what he's trying to do? Is he trying to drag people around him, Karen, in order to release Son and maybe leave him, in particular, potentially, one-on-one with Thiago Silva?
I think so. You're right, straight away. They are 2v2. And I'm not saying he's past it, that would be ridiculous for me to say. I think Harry Kane's game has evolved that he's not going to sprint you in behind anymore.
No.
So how do you get the best out of him? But again, this is more positive from him because he's got the ability to turn, get on the shoulder.
Like that.
Yeah, that's probably why you go, that's what I want you to do in training. It sees it, but the reality is that hasn't happened. And I'd rather him play them both up top and just be like that, or, you know, play with the speed like they previously did and Harry coming off and then there's speed going in behind that way. Not him as a left of a front three. No,
be interesting exactly where Harry Kane figures maybe together an awful lot. Whether that maybe had a bearing, it certainly maybe was a factor. Now, I think nothing more. Sometimes, you can watch matches and you can see things and you can convince yourself we're not far away. And then someone puts a graphic like this one in front of you, which tells you that Tottenham have got to improve across the board, Karen, pretty quickly. Look at that ranking in terms of shots, shot conversion rates. Big chances created, bottom of the table. Big chances converted, of course, they're right down there. That has all got to improve dramatically, hasn't it?
You know what? I'm going to throw something out there. I watched Tottenham without Harry Kane early on against City. And when they played with pace and counter-attack, I thought they looked more themselves. So I don't know how much of having to play Harry Kane. We want him in the team, but in the right position. But I don't know whether this is slightly to do with it as well. I felt they're better on the counter-attack. Their personnel might suit that.